Welcome. This evening's been hosted by Heart of the Shore, which is it's a platform of 4 independent, like-minded candidates standing for the local board in the local board elections. This is not a political meeting. In fact, that's the end of the political speech in terms of, message from the sponsor. Tonight is about discussing the issues which are important to the community, which is Lake Road.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, everyone. And indeed, I did play the trumpet for Marcelno, so he was speechless. What they were able to determine is a really interesting outcome from the survey, the study that they did. 80% of traffic users of Lake Road are single occupant cars. But of those interviewed, 50% said that they would use buses as the main form of alternative transport if it was provided, if they weren't able to use their cars. The other thing that came out of the study was that 50% of people who use Lake Road, approximately 50%, just travelled within the peninsula. They didn't leave the peninsula, they were just using Lake Road to get from Hauraki Corner down to the ferry or something like that.
So what I do in the research team is look at every apartment project in Auckland. I update our database on a daily basis because it's constantly changing. There's just so much happening. At the moment there's well over 100 projects in the active pipeline. And when I say active pipeline, I mean projects that are being marketed for pre-sale, have building consent, or are under construction. There's a lot of other sites that people are wanting to do projects on, but they're not yet at that pipeline stage. They're still imminent or maybe early feasibility. In the GFC, there was a lot less residential construction in Auckland, and you can see consents dropping away quite a lot during the late 2000s. It's been steadily climbing since 2011. Houses have grown, but the bulk of the increase has come from higher density residential typologies, such as apartments and terraced houses. This is a trend that's been enabled by the unitary plan, but the bulk is still houses. That's about half of consents. But you will have seen in the news about a month ago, we've hit that magic number of 14,000 residential consents in the year to, I think it was June 2019. So that's an important milestone because 14,000 houses is what we need to keep pace with population growth. But it doesn't at all start to address the shortage that accumulated in the late 2000s. So these are some of the suburban apartment developments that are completing this year. The top left one is quite close to you guys. It's called Lakeview in Takapuna on Kalani Street. Most of the supply pipeline since 2013 has not been CBD focused. This is a bit of a change to what we saw in the previous 2 apartment development booms where it was very CBD focused. There's only been a 25% increase in the number of CBD apartments for this development cycle, but there's been a 206% increase in the number of suburban apartments. I can't speak for can the community have their say, is it notifiable or not, but what I can tell you is that Housing New Zealand have definitely ramped up their apartment development lately. They've doubled their pipeline every year for the last 3 years. So the reason for this is because we have a massive social housing need. There's about 12,000 households on the wait list. There's 32 Housing New Zealand apartment developments in the pipeline, and 42 social housing ones in total. In terms of massive developments, the majority of these 32 developments are, in my opinion, quite little, maybe 10 to 30 units per development, and from what I understand, most of them are fitting into what's allowed in the unitary plan. So let's say if it's mixed housing suburban, 2-level developments, or if it's mixed housing urban, 3-level developments, which is often a walk-up apartment type.
Backyards, every home has one. And how can we access this land without buying it? We lease it. So Slimpy, the disruptive business that I'm putting together, stands for shared living in my backyard. You might have heard of NIMBY, not in my backyard, or YIMBY, yes in my backyard, or FIMBY, public housing in my backyard. There are a lot of movements that are IMBYising the world. Slimpy places a prefabricated house on land leased from a homeowner, called them the host, funded by an external investor, and tenanted with a suitable tenant, the resident.
The interesting thing is, over the years, I've watched Lake Road and it's never seemed to have been fixed. If you haven't noticed, there always seems to be an internal traffic jam, even on the weekend. And you've got to think, what's being done about it? Is we need to encourage people to get out of their cars and into public transport. But for that to happen, you need to make public transport appeal to those people who drive cars. You've got to make it look sexy. You've got to make it fast and convenient. As Lake Road is today, and as it has been for the last 20 years, it's a congested nightmare in the morning and at night and in the weekends. Now what we do know is at the end of the day, out of all the people who choose to drive their car, probably 50% of them have a really good reason why they need to drive. They really do need to drive. There's another 50% in there who haven't yet felt the love and the appeal of public transport is, and that they should be getting out of the car and jumping on a bus. And if they do get on the bus, they'll find it's probably going to be quicker and a lot cheaper than driving. We do know there was money allocated for it. We do know that money was taken away from that to happen. So something actually really has to happen to ensure that money is put into Lake Road. So you have a decent set of bus lanes. So the buses run faster than the cars. So people who drive cars think, why don't I catch a bus? But then you'll start to help resolve the issues of the ongoing congestion on this area.
What I think that I'm hearing from you is, yes, the congestion's there, that we need some kind of separation. That separation doesn't all have to be on Lake Road. There could be an alternate track, which could be a cycling track or a cycleway and walking track that actually privilege, but it could be like a cycling highway that really privileges the fast movement of cyclists to get where they want to go. I think that's really worth investigating. I think that you could have some cycle separation actually on Lake Road, so that may be worth more than a T3 lane, if there was a belief in the uptake of it. But what you've really got to do is get those 50% of people who are just driving around the peninsula, either put them on electric bikes, or incentivise them to do it by giving them electric bikes, which some cities do in the world, or actually have very small 6 to 8 to 10 seater vehicles that just drive around all the time. It's completely free, and you just call for it and it picks you up.
It's a great panel. It's a really interesting discussion. I went to France last year with Alstom. They're some of the biggest tram manufacturers in the world, and the trams that they make, the Citadis X05, which is one of their newest trams, that actually travels, I hate to tell you, John, 80 kilometres an hour. Now, so think local, right? There's one thing that I want to ask you about, which is a big issue for my family, the ferry users. One of the worst moments is getting off the Devonport ferry and seeing the bus just gently glide past the Esplanade and head, straight up past the shop. And so then you've got a terrible wait. So I see a huge issue with the disconnection between the Fuller's ferry service and Auckland Transport. But as I understand it, one of the worst problems is during the height of the cruise season, when the ferries have to slow down to just a few knots to go anywhere near the cruise ship. So Fuller's, in response to that, would say that they have an inability to run according to the timetable due to the 100 plus cruise ships we've got getting bigger and longer and visiting Auckland more and dumping all their money in our mint. So that's what I'd say in response to
I'd
that.
like to say the only way to do anything is people power. Because Auckland Transport's answer to that disconnection is that they have a time, the buses have a timetable to run. And it is people power because in the past, the buses always waited for the ferry passengers. They are their clients.
The opinions of our panellists are not intended to be representative of the platform policies of Heart of the Shore. However, we thank our panel on behalf of the community for your generous donation of time. For you for coming along as well and for participating and keep the conversation going, because it's not about these experts giving their opinions to the council, it's also about us as a community saying what we think and figuring out what the answers are for us. So thanks for coming.